What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Tuesday night Q&A Hangout. We actually missed it last week because of Monday Night Football. It was a short week, and then there was a bunch of videos to do. We had an interview with Seth Kaiser. All kinds of stuff was going on, but we're back for this one, and what a win. What a win that the Chiefs had over the Detroit Lions on Sunday Night Football. I thought the Chiefs had a chance to win. I had them winning 34-31 in an offensive shootout where that high-powered Lions offense was just going to have to match or really vice versa. The Chiefs offense was just going to have to match the high-powered Detroit Lions offense, and probably the last one to score was going to win that game. Well, the defense did a pretty good job too. They held the Lions to only 17 points, and I'll just kind of address the flag thing, the ref thing. Here's the thing. Andy Reid said it too after his presser. You know, I'm just clipping on my in-ear monitors while I talk, but in every single game, there's probably flags that were missed. There was probably a call here, a call there that didn't need to be called. That's like that for every game. But if you kind of strip down the flags to the nuts and bolts, two of the Lions' penalties, one was on illegal motion, or whatever it was on Goff for the touchdown pass, and the other one was on a delay of game. That's it. So the Chiefs benefited from 2 first downs on half of the Lions' 4 flags. Yeah, the Chiefs had 0 flags. They probably could have been flagged a couple of times, but it wasn't changing the outcome of the game. What are we doing? How do we get to this point where the Chiefs win a game by 13? It wasn't even close. Outside of 2 minutes to go in the second quarter, it was the Chiefs all the way from there, but it's the refs. How about the Chiefs kicked your freaking how about that? How about take the L? Quit whining, quit crying. Good God. I mean, the meltdown on social media this week about the Chiefs and the refs. Are we serious? It wasn't a 3-point down to the wire game where a flag was thrown at the end and decided the outcome of this game or changed the outcome of this game. No, you got worked. I have a lot of respect for the Lions. I think I'm still surprised by the outcry anytime the Chiefs do something. It doesn't matter if it's a close win or a dominant win. Cry, cry, tear, wah, wah. That's all I hear all week long. It's embarrassing. Grown men, grown women melting down, crying about the refs. It wasn't even a close game. So with that being said, I'm just getting that out of the way. Should Juju have been flagged on this blindside block on Brian Branch late in the fourth quarter? Maybe. I've seen people arguing both sides of it. Some swear it's not a flag. They're breaking down every single sub-paragraph of the NFL rules. I don't know. Maybe. Guess what? If he would have been flagged, it was over anyway. The Chiefs were winning that game. It was like 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. It was done. Maybe he'll get fined for it. Talking about Juju, some say, hey, that was legal within where he hit him, how far away from the line of scrimmage, how quickly it happened. I don't know. I am sitting here telling you right now, I'm not going to argue to my grave whether or not Juju should have been flagged. I think he could have potentially been flagged. The reality is that hit or not, you don't go up to somebody after the game, after victory formation, and just walk up to him and clock him in the face. It wasn't even just that either, because I see a lot of Lions fans just saying like, oh, well, all he did was what Tierra Tart did to Kelsey. That's not suspension worthy. If you're going to suspend Branch, well, you need to suspend Juju or fine Mahomes for spinning the ball near his feet. He also pulled Juju down, ripped his helmet off, and then I think hit him again. So it was more than just the hit, but there was just kind of a lot that went into it. And he's been fined 13 times, Brian Branch has, in his NFL career. I don't feel sorry for you. Yeah, guess what he said after the game? It was childish. Yeah, because it was. You were not in control of your emotions. It wasn't even heat of the moment. It wasn't like Juju blocked him, right, on that illegal, quote-unquote, this is what Brian Branch said, I don't know if it was or not, quote-unquote illegal blindside block. It's not like he jumped up then and then clocked Juju. He thought about it for like 10 minutes. and then walked up to Juju and did it. This is 14-year-old child stuff. It's embarrassing. That's all it is. Yeah, you deserve to get suspended. He's appealing it. Will he get that overturned by the NFL? I don't know. I wouldn't think so. I think he's going to lose the appeal, but we'll see. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. Is that a surprise that you would do that after the game and not get a repercussion of some sort from the NFL? No, it's not a surprise. Dan Campbell took the high road. I mean, rightfully so. Apologized to Andy Reid, the Chiefs, blah, blah, blah. Like, I have a lot of respect for the Lions. I think they're a good team. I gave them nothing but respect coming into this game. I thought they had a decent chance of potentially winning the game if the Chiefs weren't firing on all cylinders. And they lost pretty handedly. I was pleasantly surprised. Dan Campbell owned it. He said, hey, that's not acceptable. It's inexcusable. And I appreciated that. You know what he's done to that football team? Turning that organization around. Like, they're one of the best in the NFL. And the only reason it wasn't Chiefs-Lions in Super Bowl 59 was because the Lions were decimated by injuries. They could not get past the Commanders in the playoffs because they had Walmart greeters running around out there trying to help them win a football game. I can't remember. It was some ungodly number of injuries, players on IR. It had to have been upwards of 10. I mean, it was so many people. All that to say, it was a great win. I mean, we could talk about some of the positives, and I'm going to turn and kind of look at your guys' comments and just hang out with you guys. But I just wanted to air that out, give my thoughts around that a little bit. It's like, dude, the outcry, even a fan saying, I'm glad Brian Branch did that. Juju deserved it. Okay. These are the same people that are crying about Mahomes spinning a ball 5 feet away from Brian Branch's feet. Pick a side. Because you sound soft and like an immature baby is what you sound like. Should Juju have hit him that hard? I don't know. Maybe not. Was it flaggable? Possibly. Not sure. If I would have saw that replay and Juju got flagged for a 15-yard penalty, I think I just would have looked at him and be like, yeah, that felt like a bit much. So, like, I could see that for sure. But pick a side, man. You want Mahomes in trouble, fined for spinning a football 5 feet from Brian Branch and walking away backwards doing this? If he would have gotten flagged, okay, fine. Taunting. Okay, that's fine. The outcry and the downpour of Lions fans losing a Week 6 game to a non-conference opponent is insane to me. You didn't lose because of the refs? Are you serious? You lost because you got your kicked. You're the highest scoring offense in the NFL, averaging 35 points a game, scored 17. How's that going to win you a football game when the Chiefs are averaging 31 points a game on offense over the last 3 weeks? That's not getting you a win. All right? And to note on all of that, one of the heroes of that game was Jalen Moore. And that's the last thing I do want to talk about before just kind of reading chat and hanging out with you guys and answering questions. Branch's trash as coach is a class act, though, said Campbell Cooks with a 2. Appreciate you. I thought NFL players were supposed to be men. Said unnatural with the 2. Thank you, guys. And Kirby Joseph going on his Twitter account and sharing all the ref stuff, saying that the Chiefs were nothing. They weren't difficult. Brother, you had the worst coverage grade on your team, the worst overall defensive grade on your team. You allowed 3 catches on 3 targets for 50-something yards and a touchdown. Barbecue chicken. That's what you were. And we're over here talking about the refs. At some point, people just have to grow up, man. You're in the NFL. You're paid to win. You didn't win. Take the L. Move on. Now, shout out to Jalen Moore, who was in the hospital all night with his wife. She had their 3rd baby on Saturday morning or Sunday morning, Saturday night, early Sunday morning. He didn't really get good sleep. He then shows up for walkthrough and finds out he's probably starting. Season debut for the Kansas City Chiefs at left tackle. His wife delivered their baby. hours prior. He shows up and plays really well. Yeah, he gave up the most pressures on the line, gave up the only sack, or I think Mahomes might have been sacked twice, but only one was allowed by a lineman. It was Jalen Moore. The other one was Noah Gray. Whoever decided, hey, let's put Noah Gray one-on-one on Aiden Hutchinson might need their coaching license revoked. That's insane. That's what I would call a mismatch. Okay? That's a bad mismatch, actually. But Jalen Moore was awesome. And it's just, I got to shout out Veach. Because every time the Chiefs have a big issue one year, he fixes it. Or at least tries his best. Not every position is perfect. We know that. But the O-line is in a pretty good spot. Kingsley, he's looking better every single week. He's allowed 1 pressure in 3 games. Jalen Moore was awesome. And then a lot of people are probably wondering, well, what the heck's going on with Josh Simmons? What happened? Where did he go? What is he dealing with? We don't know. Nate Taylor of ESPN said this today. The Chiefs still don't know when Josh Simmons will be back with the team, and it wouldn't be a surprise if Jalen Moore starts at left tackle Sunday against the Raiders. He said this on his podcast today on KC Sports Network. Only Weird Games is the name of the podcast with Joshua Briscoe and Seth Kaiser. Most of you probably know about that. And my response to that is simple. Whatever's going on with Simmons, I hope he's all right. I hope he's doing as well as he can. There's more to life than football. If it's a family emergency, I don't know how long it's going to take. Let's just say he has a family member that's not doing well. How is he supposed to know when he could return if it's an immediate family member? Again, I don't know if that's what's going on, but that's why the team might not know when he can return. I just am glad that Veach signed Jalen Moore and drafted Josh Simmons. Because you're still in a good spot with your O-line without Josh Simmons. I would rather have him. But sometimes there's more to life than football. And whatever it is, man, they're being really quiet about it. I don't know who all really knows what's going on. Maybe we'll find out more this week. If he's not at practice tomorrow, I'm going to assume Jalen Moore is your left tackle. And it's against the Raiders. We'll talk about it for sure. The Chiefs should probably win that game, but it's a divisional opponent. Those games can get weird. They've got Geno. I mean, he leads the NFL in interceptions. Brock Bowers is probably not playing. They are struggling. They did win a game against the Titans after losing 4 straight. I think they won week 1 and then lost 4 straight, beat the Titans. The Chiefs probably should win that game. They're like 11.5-point favorites, but you might be doing it without Josh Simmons. However, you will be doing it in some capacity with Rashee Rice back. He's back from suspension. They already made the roster move. He's on the 53-man roster. Jason Brownlee has been waived from the roster to make room for him. And so you're going to have Rice, and that's awesome. I will say this. I have no idea what to expect. I don't know if he's just going to go out there and get a full snap count. I wonder if they're going to ramp him up a little bit over the course of a couple weeks maybe. Because, again, he couldn't practice with the team for 6 weeks. He was in the facility for 3. But you can't actually practice with the team until you're allowed to return from suspension. So he's gonna practice this week. And I'm checking Twitter right now just to make sure we're not missing any update. Part of me is like wondering if we're going to find something out about Simmons potentially. But yeah, Rice will be back, and that's great. I'm going to go into this game cautiously optimistic. He will play, but how much? I'm not really sure. But that's just kind of where some of my thoughts are. I had to rant a little bit. I've been ranting for a while, I know, but there was enough going on since the game happened. I just felt like it was worth airing it out, talking about some of the ref stuff, the Lions stuff, talking about Jalen Moore, Josh Simmons, talking about the return of Rice. And that's kind of where we are. It was a great win. It was the most impressive win of the season, probably the most impressive win in quite some time because, and I saw Lions fans, that was the Chiefs Super Bowl. Guys, come on. Come on, dude. The Chiefs have been to 5 Super Bowls in 6 years. You think a Week 6 game against an NFC opponent is the Chiefs Super Bowl? Are you on drugs? Are you on drugs? What are we talking about? No. Not even close, but it was a great win because the Lions are a good team. Injuries are not in their secondary. I understand that. We talked about that. But that offense is the real deal. And they got shut down. And it was a great win. They were number 1, number 2 on most people's power rankings heading into this game, and the Chiefs beat them. Cleanly, handedly. So it was a great win, a very impressive win. The offense is continuing to climb. Like, they're averaging 31 points a game over the last 3 weeks. They're the real deal. They're not perfect, but they are looking really good, and I think a large part of it is because there's an O-line now. Specifically, a left tackle, and Kingsley Suamataia is also playing pretty well. Every single week, getting better. Hannah with the 5. MV Pat, season loading. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes is currently the betting favorite for MVP right now. And the Chiefs are co-favorites. Like, they're tied for first with the Buffalo Bills to win the Super Bowl. Here's the thing. They're looking at projections moving forward, not just what has been done now. If you want to vote on MVP right now, I think Baker Mayfield has a pretty legitimate case to win MVP. If you just said right now, stop right now. But look at Mahomes' rushing yards. Look at what he's done with the injuries. Baker's been doing a lot there's been injuries there to the wide receiver room. Godwin's not there. Mike Evans, he's been dealing with a hammy. Emeka Egbuka right now is dealing with a hamstring, I believe, as well. But you're looking at the projection with the offense starting to peak, Rice coming back, the Chiefs' schedule getting a little bit earlier. I would put money down on Mahomes getting MVP. I think the odds look good if you continue the trend. But yeah, he is loading up for a MVP type season. He's on pace for 4,200 yards, 32 touchdowns, passing touchdowns, like 8 interceptions, 9 interceptions, but then like 650 rushing yards and another half dozen or so rushing touchdowns, maybe more. So he's having a great season. And I mean, that offense is basically back. Pat is leading the NFL in total yards, said Hannah, with 1,736 and 11 touchdowns. He has 222 rushing yards. P.S. Brian Branch and Kerry Joseph are sore losers. Yeah, sometimes I just wish players just take the L, man, and move on, learn from it. I also understand some of these guys. Like, I think I looked up Brian Branch's age. He's like 23. That's not a kid, but the mentals are still developing. And I'm not being rude, but I'm 34. And I feel like just within the past few years have I been able to control my thoughts a bit more effectively. It's like I just look at them sometimes. I'm like, okay, yeah, well, you remind me of a kid. And I think that's just because I'm getting older. I just look at that guy. I'm like, dude, you don't even know what Saturday morning cartoons are. You don't know what the Game Boy Advance is. You don't know nothing about that. You were born, you never saw the 90s? So, you weren't alive when Derek Thomas was? It's like, man, I think I'm getting old. I'm not really getting old, but just football is a young guy's sport. There's a reason why when you turn 30, they're like, yeah, that's getting up there. That's getting old. Travis Kelce, 36, looking really good, though. Toma with the 5. What's up, man? What was more embarrassing than the reaction of bums like Ryan Clark and Acho openly advocating for this type of behavior, calling Juju soft? Yeah, it was a little weird. I mean, I saw a lot of people celebrating the photo of Juju's bloody nose, and they're like, look at him, he's crying. Dude, people... I trained in Taekwondo for 12 years and took a bunch of shots to the nose. It hurts like hell and your eyes instantly water. There's nothing you could do about it. Like, maybe you stayed in your mom's basement your entire life and never went out into the real world and gotten any kind of altercation ever. But if you get popped in the nose, I got news for you. You're going to tear up. There's nothing you can do to control it. And it's actually not that hard to make your nose bleed. It's like pretty easy to do. So that's just, if you get hit in the nose, that's what it is. That's what happens. Okay. But yeah, I don't know. The Juju picture right now floating around, it reminds me of You guys remember when Derwin James body slammed Travis Kelce near the goal line years back, and the Chiefs won, but like the Chargers fans, even though they lost, they ran with that. They painted murals of it. They shared that photo all around. That's what they're doing with the Juju thing. Okay. Okay, you freaking weirdos. If that helps you feel better about your loss, okay. You might need therapy, but okay. Falcon with the 17 months. Kingsley absolutely annihilated Branch when he jumped up to block a pass. Yeah, like Brian Branch said he was getting bullied all game. I mean, this is football, brother. I understand the block in the back that he was talking about, and again, I don't know if that was for sure a block in the back or not. Would have been fine if they flagged it. Not sure. But other than that, like, dude, it's just football. You're also going to get hit hard. We see so many plays. I watch the film of every Chiefs game. I'll be watching a play and I'll be like, dang, Trey Smith just like leveled that guy. I mean, that's kind of just football, man. It just happens. It's a violent game of chess. Pac West with the 20. The Raiders are going to triple team Rice this weekend after all the pundits' hype. Yikes. TV pundits. Yeah, we'll see. Pac West, thank you so much for the 20 bomb. We'll see how much Rice actually ends up playing. I am excited about his return. He's going to do a lot for this offense. I saw a comment yesterday saying, hey, I hate to be a downer, but I don't think Rice is going to do anything to help this offense. I would love to know the argument to that, just because how could he not? Maybe not this week, because maybe you're still going to ramp him up and have him on a snap count. But how could he not help this offense? How could he not fill in and take over what Juju Smith-Schuster's been doing in the middle of the field and create more yak opportunities? Get open even more. Be another trustworthy receiver option out there for Mahomes in the middle of the field. And there will be times when Juju's out there too, and he's going to benefit from Rice getting the attention. Kelsey's going to benefit from Rice getting the attention. Guess what else is going to happen? Rice is going to start catching all these passes and doing all this damage in the middle of the field. Xavier Worthy and Tyquan Thornton, they're going to be ready to run some deep passes, deep routes down the field. And safeties and defenses are going to have to choose. Do we keep two high? Or do we have one go down to help really take care of the middle of the field, because they are gashing us over and over and over again? Well, guess what? They're probably going to do that at some point in some way, shape, or form. And then Worthy, Thornton are going to benefit from that down the field. Well, then they're going to be like, I don't even know what to do. We cover Rice. How do we go about doing this? And hopefully all of that helps benefit the running back room even more, takes more pressure off of them, and allows them to be a bit more effective. I know it's not the most dynamic running back room, but they've looked better the past couple of weeks, and they've been running more under center, and that has helped Isaiah Pacheco. It would help any running back if you have room to run up and see a semblance of what is going on from a blocking standpoint and what could potentially open. Running the outside stuff, the sweeping stuff out of gun, it's just not as effective. Now, the RPO stuff is going to stay in the Chiefs' offense. They run a lot of that, and it's been very effective. But if you could get back to doing what they did last week a little bit more runs under center, Isaiah Pacheco absolutely looked better. And the Lions weren't banged up on their D-line. They didn't have Aleem. I think it's Aleem. Is it Aleem McNeil? I might be saying his name wrong. It's escaping me off the top of my head. But they didn't have him. But they had their linebackers and their D-line for the most part. And the running back room looked a lot better. So that's a long-winded digression, I guess. I'm going to digress on that. But when you say Rice isn't going to help this offense, what do you mean? Is it because, the offense is already performing at a very high level? He's not going to do that much more than they're already doing? Okay, to an extent, but that's your best receiver. He's not going to be your deep threat guy. There's other receivers that could do aspects of things in the offense better than Rice. But Rice was on a tear before his injury last year. I mean, he was going, the offense was funneling exclusively almost through Rashee Rice before he got injured. unnatural with the 5. The difference between the Chiefs and other teams, when they fail, they own it and get better. Other teams blame everything but themselves. Example, Dolphins. And I think there was a lot of Lions players who did just kind of take the L. The ones that get amplified are the ones that are really loud on social media. And I bet you some of their teammates are embarrassed by that, to be honest with you, because it's embarrassing behavior. The Brian Branch thing is pretty embarrassing too. So I'm sure there's teammates there that are embarrassed by it. And I mean, Mahomes had an incident a couple years ago with the offsides on Tony. We remember that. He was like yelling at the ref and was furious after the game. Like, nobody's perfect. I don't expect everybody to be robots and show no emotion, So it happens, but does it happen more times than not? Or can you just learn from that and not repeat the mistake? Not repeat that? That's like the biggest thing to me. Jennifer, thanks so much for the 5 gifted. Chaos with the 5. I got to say, thank you, man. Jalen Moore really impressed me. He did better in one game than Morris did in a whole season. Well, yeah, that's why you went and signed Jalen Moore in the offseason, because he could have potentially been your starting left tackle, and he would have been better. It's so crazy how deep the Chiefs are right now at the tackle spot. Their backup left tackle right now in Jalen Moore is better than any starter they've had in 2 years over there. For sure, last year, better than anybody. If you want to say, well, maybe Donovan Smith in 2023 was close to the same. Okay. But I think Jalen Moore might be a little bit better. He's younger, and he trained under Trent Williams for how many years? So it's crazy to me that Jalen Moore, the backup left tackle, they have more depth with the backup, more talent, a higher floor with the backup this year than they had with any of their starters last year, Kingsley or Wanye. I kind of hate that they did that to Kingsley last year. I mean, hindsight's 2020, and now Kingsley is a guard and he's doing really well. I just hated that. You could see it crushed Kingsley's confidence, and he's like a good dude. He's awesome, man. I was nervous about him early on in the season because of the quick losses. I think a lot of us were, because when he was losing, it was this fast, and somebody was getting directly to Mahomes. But I feel like he's getting better every single week, and I am very happy to see it. I tweeted out a couple days ago, I think the Joe Tooney trade was worth it, because you freed up that $20-ish million to go get Jalen Moore, and then the Kingsley risk has kind of worked out so far at the guard spot. He needed time, but he's already looking good. I don't know that he's like elite or top 10 or anything like that, but I don't know that we need that yet. I don't know that anybody expected that yet, and he's still going this way. That's what I am happy about and love seeing with Kingsley. And it's so cool. Kingsley, he'll get on Twitter. He'll get on Twitter and just tweet out like a Chiefs win tweet. Like, it's so cool. He is October 13th, Victory Monday. Chiefs Kingdom. He's not on there a lot. Got a W. Go Chiefs. I'm so happy for Kingsley, man. I feel like a proud uncle, and I'm not, obviously, I'm not Samoan. I'm not related to the guy at all. I just, you see him get drafted. You saw the struggles he went through last year. He was really ran through the ringer, and it's because he didn't belong to be the left tackle. It was kind of the coaches setting him up in a bad way last year. And they overcorrected. Veach overcorrected this year for good reason. You now have 2 left tackles that were better than anybody on the team last year, and it's perfect. It's best case scenario. Whatever Simmons is going through, personal matter, family matter, don't know the details, but you have Jalen Moore able to fill in right now, and then Josh Simmons can worry about and focus on that situation, himself, his family, whatever is going on, get right, or hopefully the situation works out in the best way possible, and then he can come back. But he has to feel good in some capacity. Simmons does, knowing like, hey, Jalen Moore, he held his own and they got a W. Like, that's awesome, man. Yeah, he really impressed me too, Chaos. Did He did a great job. Don, thank you so much for the 10 bomb, and B Hayes with the back-to-back 10 bomb switch up. Getting real 2021 season vibes this year. Might not be Super Bowl bound, but with Rice coming back and the momentum we're gaining, feel like we're throttling up at the right moment. Thoughts? Yeah, I definitely gave some of my thoughts earlier, but I feel like I'm getting a little bit of maybe like 2022 vibes. Tyreek was gone. I don't know. I mean, 2021, maybe as well. Oh, maybe if you're saying 2021, like the season started out slow, you went into a slump, and then you started climbing out. Because in 2021, weren't they 3-4? They were 2-3 or 3-4 or something like that. So yes, in that regard, I completely agree with you. And I think they're starting to figure it out, click, and get things going on the right track. And the offense is probably going to carry this year a little bit more, guys. I don't think the defense is as good as it has been in previous years, but that's fine. Yes, I want more pass rush help. I think they need help there. I think Chamari Connor looks good at safety. Brian Cook's been looking good. Trent McDuffie's fine. Jalen Watson's fine. I just think you need a little bit more pass rush. Nick Bolton's been playing a really good football this season for the most part. He got cooked in the middle of the field last week trying to cover Sam Laporta. Is that a surprise? Are we surprised that Nick Bolton, not known for elite coverage ability, can't cover one of the best tight ends in the NFL? I'm not. But what he does do well, he's been great at. Run stops, like splitting the gap, making these tackles for losses. They used him on like delayed blitzes on Lamar Jackson. He's been playing really well. Drew Tranquil's been playing really well. Leo Chanel has been playing awesome. You can put him, line him up as a D end in the interior, as a defensive tackle. They've blitzed him. Had him in coverage. They've been doing all kinds of stuff. So I'm pretty happy with the defense for the most part, as long as Chamari Connor stays out of the slot and somebody else aside from Chris Jones and GK, George Karlaftis at times, can help get pressure to the quarterback. And Chris Jones was kind of a game wrecker. A Minihue got a sack on Goff. That Chris Jones, I mean, he completely blew up that play. But if the defense takes a step back, but the offense takes 3 or 4 steps forward this year compared to last, that's fine. Fans are probably going to like it better. They're going to like it better if the Chiefs offense is putting up 30 a game. They're going to like that way better. I mean, wouldn't you guys like it better if the Chiefs, again, a win is a win. I don't know that it matters. The identity might shift a little, but if the Chiefs are winning 30-24, it's still a 1-score game, but would you like that better than one of those defensive slugfests we've seen and the Chiefs win 16-13? I think every fan wants to see more points scored, and you're definitely going to see that this year. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Unnatural with the 2. I get he's 23, but 17-year-olds are going to military. Yeah, I'm not really making excuses for the guy. I'm not making excuses for Brian Branch because I've already shared how crazy it is to hit Juju that late after the game. It's not like Juju hit him on that block. Brian Branch immediately jumped up and then hit him back in retaliation. That is one thing to me, but premeditated like 10 minutes later to just walk up and punch him is crazy. That's a whole nother level. Yeah, thanks for the 2 bomb, brother. Dom with the 5. Do you think we draft a right tackle after Taylor's gone or move Jalen Moore over next? That's a great question. Partially a problem for another day, but the game plan could very well be Josh Simmons on the left side, Kingsley, Creed, Trey Smith, and then Jalen Moore. I think that could very well be the plan. Yeah, absolutely. You could still draft a tackle. I don't think it's bad to keep the tackle help coming through the draft, through like any level of talent you can do to raise offensive line floor for your depth pieces. I'm always going to be about it. And then Wanya has what does Wanya have? Like a couple years left. He's a swing, he's one of your swing tackles. He was a 3rd-round pick a couple years ago. He's got some time left. Jacob with the 5. Deep routes with 80 and 1, while 4, 5, and either 87, 9, or 24 in the shallow to intermediate routes. Everybody gotta eat. Exactly. Thornton and Worthy deep routes. And then Worthy can do more than that too. That's what's so exciting about him. You could use him behind the line of scrimmage. He can do intermediate stuff. I mean, we saw that yesterday, or Sunday night, whenever that was. The days are blending together. He caught a pass in the middle of the field, shed a tackle, and cut up and got 10 more yards after the catch or something up that left side. So, yeah, I definitely agree with you. And Brashard Smith, yep, work him in. Hollywood Brown, I feel like, was coming off of his best game. He made some catches that I was like, whoa. That sideline catch from Hollywood Brown was freaking awesome. That was great. He had two touchdowns. Heck yeah. So he's coming along nice. Thornton's developed into a valuable deep threat. And there was a play for sure that Thornton, the secondary was showing so much respect to Tyquan Thornton on a play that I think it was the play that Hollywood was like wide open in the middle of the field. I'm pretty sure it was Hollywood wide open. Mahomes threw it to him, and he had to like kind of dive to catch it. I think Mahomes was trying to throw while escaping up into the pocket a little bit or something like that. But the safeties had to follow Thornton way over there because you actually have a legitimate deep threat now that you have to respect. It's not MVS doing wind sprints. And MVS, shout out to him. He made some plays in the playoffs, the AFC Championship game. There's some games that he really showed up in. But there were also some games where they were like, you can run by. I'm not even bothered. Mahomes ain't throwing it down there. Well, with Thornton, it's like, he actually might throw it down there, and Thornton's probably going to catch it. So you've got Worthy, who's shown he can do it. Thornton can now do it. And so you have to respect that, and that's going to help the middle of the field even more. Any word on Josh Simmons? No, Leswan. I talked about it at the beginning of the stream about the 10-minute mark. I shared all that I got. Yeah, that's really all that I have. They don't know. They don't know when he's going to come back. I think somebody knows what is going on with Simmons and his situation, but they're keeping it under wraps, and they're keeping it a private matter. And I respect that. Will we find out something this week? Hopefully a little bit of something. I mean, part of me hopes so. But also, when you're dealing with personal matters, sometimes it's just that, a personal matter. So the coaches will make the decision, not whether or not he has to come back. I'm just saying they'll probably be very selective and careful on what is shared and what is known about the situation. I think Andy Reid and some of those guys know what's going on to some extent. They have to know something. It's one thing to not know when Simmons is going to return, but another thing entirely to just be like, yeah, Simmons didn't tell us anything. We don't know anything at all. Like they have to know something. It's not necessarily our business though. So that's fine. Maybe we'll know more this upcoming week though. Tanner with the 5 would love to be able to get out of Taylor's contract and then keep Moore around as a right tackle. Then you have both tackles secured for the near future. So yeah, you can get out of Jawan Taylor's contract next year for sure. Can't do it this year. It's impossible. And I'll actually give some props to Jawan Taylor. He's had 0 flags in 3 games, I believe. Technically 1, but it was a illegal formation flag, I think, supposed to go to Tyquan Thornton. 3 games with no flags from Jawan Taylor. When he's not drawing flags, he is a great pass protector, a well above average pass protector. It was the net negatives of all the flags, 2 flags a game, 3 flags a game. He had 4 flags, I think, week 1 or whatever it was. That is killing a couple drives a game. I would rather have an average pass protector that doesn't get flagged than an above average pass protector that's averaging 2.5 to 4 flags a game. But the last 3 weeks, no flags, and it's been great. Combined with Kingsley looking better, Josh Simmons over there holding it down, or if he's not, Jalen Moore over there holding it down. So, heck yeah, man. I think next year you can definitely get out of his contract. Absolutely. Hannah with the 10. Chiefs might, thanks for the 10, by the way. Chiefs might lose offensive coordinator Matt Nagy to Titans head coach position because Borgonzi, former Veach right hand, is their GM. Half the kingdom would celebrate. P.S. Nagy doesn't call plays. I worry Borgonzi steals Spags. Yeah, it's kind of a conversation for the offseason, but I did see the reports because I'm sure most of you know, the Titans fired their head coach, Brian Callahan. It was time to go. They're not in a good spot. I think they messed up and never should have fired Mike Vrabel. They messed up. And they're going to potentially be paying the price for that for years to come. But yeah, if they want to hire Matt Nagy, okay. I mean, okay. Andy Reid runs the ship. I would love a different voice in there. Just bringing fresh ideas. Nagy has not been the problem of the offense's decline the past couple of years. EB wouldn't come in and just magically be the savior. That's never been what it is. It's the wide receiver room leading the league in drops. Mahomes was throwing passes to Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore, and MVS. It's the left tackle play, subpar left tackle play. It's more than just the OC when Andy Reid calls the plays and runs the ship. No matter who the offensive coordinator has been for the Kansas City Chiefs since Andy Reid has been here, the offense has still been pretty good. I'm not worried about OC. Because of that, I'm never too critical of Nagy when the offense doesn't quote unquote do well. And I won't like overly praise him when the offense is doing what they've been doing the last 3 weeks. 30 points a game, 37 points, 28 points, 30 last week. That's just the offense getting on track, a solid O-line for Patrick Mahomes, Tyquan Thornton being better than advertised, Worthy in year 2, Juju healthier than ever, Kelsey quicker and healthier than last year. Like, that's just basic math. Now, it was a bit of a struggle early because you didn't have Worthy. The running back room is lackluster at times, and you didn't have Rice because he's suspended. Well, the offense is top 3 in almost most advanced metrics right now. I want to read this to you. I did a short on it today. Well, they're second in offensive DVOA, but they're also this. Third in points per drive, fourth in EPA per play, third in success rate, first in plays per drive, first in average time per drive. Some people might say, well, why does this matter? Why does it matter that they are first in plays per drive and average time per drive? Well, the longer the offense is on the field, sustaining drives at a high success rate, a high EPA per play, keeping the chains moving, and scoring the third most points in the NFL, that puts a lot of pressure off of the defense and actually helps a lot. And their ranks are a lot lower in a lot of things. Through the last 3 weeks, the Chiefs are basically first in most of these. They're the best offense in the NFL in a lot of categories through the last 3 weeks, and they don't even have Rice back yet. That's insane. I don't think that matters if it's Matt Nagy or EB at OC. I mean, that's what Matt Nagy is OC. That's what they're doing. I think that's overblown. I've kind of always been that way. If you disagree, that's fine. But that's just where I'm at with it. B. Hayes with a 20 bomb. Exactly what I was saying. The start of the 2021 season feels the same. Okay, yeah, slow start. Started clicking, coming together, and started winning these games. It's just great to see Mahomes have time and not have to make hero plays just to keep us alive, even though he still has those moments. Yeah, earlier in the season, and thanks again for back-to-back 20 bombs, B. Hayes. Earlier in the season, he was definitely doing that. There's a reason why he's led the room in rushing the 3 of 6 games, and he's on pace for like 650 rushing yards and something insane like 9 or 11 rushing touchdowns. I don't think that pace continues, but Mahomes is going to try to do whatever he can to win. And the offense was reeling after Worthy, a.k.a. their game plan, got hurt 3 plays in Brazil. They started figuring it out a little bit, but you had to lean heavily on Hollywood, who was hurt the back half of training camp and preseason. You're still trying to figure out what you had in Tyquan Thornton. I mean, Juju could step up and play in his own role. You're then trying to funnel the offense through Travis Kelce, who is still great, but has been playing a little bit better, I think, when you manage his overall snap count a little bit, because he goes out there fresh. Noah Gray, this is probably more game plan specific, so I'm not going to read too much into it, but Noah Gray had more offensive snaps last week than Travis Kelce. Now, did Travis Kelce still make a huge impact? Yeah, I think he led the room in receiving yards and receptions. So Kelce absolutely is still a difference maker, and he's still great. You just shouldn't have to funnel your offense through a 36-year-old tight end. It's not It's not what they were planning on doing. And now they're getting better. Getting healthier. Rice is coming back. You're starting to click. The O-line's gelling. I mean, it's looking really good, man. It's looking really good. Tom with the 2. What's up, man? What's up? What's up? How about those Chiefs, brother? Yes, sir. Mahomes-aholic with the 5 bomb. What's up, man? Morning, Cole. Man, yeah, if you're across the pond, it's morning. No morning for you. 9 p.m. for me right now. You think we'll pick up a kicker at some point this season? And went to the London game, was hoping Jets could take the W, but Fields. Yeah, that game was awful. 13-11 was the final score. Justin Fields was sacked 9 times for 55 yards. Lost. And he threw 45 passing yards or something like that. So -10 net passing yards. Yeah, that's bad. And it's not just, like, I was watching Fields just miss throws. He was just off on the throw, off on a throw, off on a throw. Not like completely off, but like enough to where his receivers couldn't make the catches. Sometimes the receivers should just make the catch. You're getting paid a lot of money. But the quarterback also needs to, like, throw it in their approximate catch window, their catch radius. And that's not what Justin Fields was doing that day. Now, to answer your question about the kicker, Harrison Butker did miss that first extra point during the Lions game, but he made the rest and the field goal. He has missed an extra point, a field goal, and or both in 5 of 6 games this year, and the only one he didn't, he kicked that kickoff out of bounds. Is he going through something? Yes. It's a little bit of the yips. Am I ready to hit the panic button? No. But he needs to figure this out in the back half of the season, the second half of the season before playoffs, because, I mean, there's going to be games where defenses are going to find success, and the Chiefs offense isn't always going to put up 30 points. They're not always going to put up 28, 31, 37. And sometimes the defense is going to have to hold, and special teams is going to have to execute and get these points. Every point's going to matter. And you could argue, had Butker made some of those kicks earlier on in the season, they'd have a win or 2 more. I'm not putting a loss fully on Butker because Kelsey could have caught that touchdown pass in the Eagles game that got batted up and turned into an INT. Like, that probably wins the Chiefs the game. But I think Harrison Butker missed a field goal or an extra point in that game too. And they lost by 3. Mahomes with the pick 6. Like, can't have that either. The Jags game was a weird one. But you could go back in the Chargers game. Harrison Butker missed an extra point, and the Chiefs were trying to make up for it by going for 2. They didn't get that either. So at one point, it was a 9-point game. Whereas if Butker just makes the extra point, you don't have to go for 2. The next touchdown, you make that extra point. It's a 7-point game. It's a 1-score game. But instead, it was a 2-score game. So that's just an example of, like, every point does kind of matter, especially in the close ones. I don't think they're going to look for a new kicker, but if he's missing a couple more games, I think it would be wise to sign a kicker to the practice squad. I mean, wouldn't it? If you have a quarterback that keeps throwing interceptions and you're like, okay, we'll give him another chance. We'll give him another chance. And he keeps throwing interceptions, at some point, you're going to light a little bit of a fire underneath this guy. Geno Smith, for example. Nothing's going on with him with the Raiders. I think he's going to be the starter for a little while now, but he leads the NFL in interceptions. Well, if he keeps throwing picks, Jake Browning is an even better example. It's more dramatized than Butker's issues, but Jake Browning was so unplayable when Burrow went down for the Bengals that they had to trade for Joe Flacco. I think they called around to others. But you can't have that guy out there. He's throwing games. Maybe not because he's got money on the game, but he's not playable. I don't think Butker's there. But there might be a point in time if he keeps missing, you sign a kicker to the practice squad. You can't get out of his contract, guys. There's too much to it. And I'm not there yet anyway. I know there's already going to be people in chat. Look at what Butker's done. We wouldn't win Super Bowls without him. I get that. I have a lot of respect for that. I think he's one of the best kickers in NFL history, but at the same time, the NFL is a what are you doing for me right now league. You can't keep missing. Okay, so he missed the first one and made the rest, and that was great. He made like 3 more extra points after that and a field goal. If he would have missed like a couple more in that game, I'd be really concerned. But he missed that one and made the rest. I'm okay for now. Song with the 25 months. Thank you. Cole, think Jalen Moore could learn to play right tackle? Yeah, they're the third person to kind of bring this up, and yes, I think so. But this season, as long as Jawan Taylor is still not drawing the flags, I think he's your right tackle. He's gone 3 games without drawing flags and is playing at a really good level. Like, he gave up 1 pressure and no sacks last week, and Aiden Hutchinson played 50-50 on both sides. That is the best tackle, or best defensive end, rather, in football, or at least top 5. Top 3, depending on, like, you got Max Crosby, you got other guys, Trey Hendrickson, Myles Garrett. There's other guys for sure. But let's just say top 5. Aiden Hutchinson is top 5. He played 50-50 on each side. Jawan Taylor gave up 1 pressure. Jalen Moore gave up 3 and a sack. As long as Jawan Taylor's not drawing flags, I think he's fine, but I think Jalen Moore could very well be your right tackle of the future. Next year, you move on from Jawan Taylor's contract. Tom, when you get time, check messages, see something sick. All right, I'll check that out in a second here. Brand with a 2-bomb. Rice, baby. Time to eat. 1 + 4 = 5. Yeah, and I'm assuming, I wasn't trying to read too much into that tweet, but I'm assuming it meant Worthy plus Rice equals Hollywood. 1 + 4 = 5. So that's the trio of receivers. If it means something else, please let me know. But that's what I took away from it. We have 1,200 in chat, man. There's a lot of people hyped up right now for a Tuesday night. Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. I mean, it was a great win against the Lions. It's Raiders week. We haven't really talked too much about them. I mean, I will preview the game later in the week. They beat the Titans, lost 4 straight before that. They're not a great team. They're just really not. They're not even as good as I thought they would be this year. And my bar for them wasn't like super high, but it is a divisional game. It is an opponent you can't sleepwalk past. It's the NFL. We've seen teams go into games all the time. Oh, this team's winning that one. That's easy. The Chiefs are 11.5-point favorites. The Bills are going into the Falcons Stadium on Monday Night Football, and they're winning that easy. Well, guess what happened? Josh Allen, 2 turnovers. They had multiple injuries. Palmer got hurt in that game, was downgraded to out. They didn't have Dalton Kincaid. They didn't have Curtis Samuel. And I don't know what happened, to be honest with you, but the Bills lost that one. They lost the week prior to the Patriots. We watched I think it was the Falcons. They lost 30-0 to the Panthers. And then 2 weeks later, they beat the Bills. You can't, it's a game-to-game league. You have to go in there. Remember when the Chiefs lost to the Raiders on Christmas? I don't even think Aiden O'Connell completed a pass in the second half. I don't even think he completed a pass outside of the first quarter. I mean, embarrassing stuff. But guess what? The Chiefs were more embarrassing and lost that game. Turnovers. Mahomes had a pick 6. I think, what was it? A pick 6, and then they try to trick play and fumble, recovered by the Raiders, and they scored a touchdown either on that fumble or shortly after. 2 touchdowns, just like that. Yeah, you can't do that. I heard somebody say that the Raiders haven't won a back-to-back game since 2023. I was like, what? I rewound it. I was like, did I hear that right? He said, the Raiders haven't won back-to-back games since 2023. Oh my gosh. Well, guess what? They won last week, and they're going to want to do that this week. So you can't sleepwalk past the Raiders at all, but the Chiefs should win. You got to play clean ball. Don't have the turnovers. You're going to be at Arrowhead. They're going to have a lot of pressure. But again, divisional games get weird. They get weird. Let's see. Tom said, lots has happened since we last talked. This is what he sent me. Carr. I don't know if you... 4-time champs. That looks nice. That looks sick, dude. Where's the inside? There were photos of the inside. How do I see him? Oh, Chiefs red in there? Oh, that's sick, dude. Nice. Let's go, Tom. That looks freaking awesome, man. Brand, thanks for the 2-bomb, brother. Hope you're doing well. Unnatural with the 2. McDuffie, best slot corner in the NFL, slowed down Brown. Yeah, I don't even know if that's a debate. He was a first-team All-Pro slot corner 2 years ago and was second-team All-Pro last year on the outside. So he's a very well-rounded corner. He was with Amon-Ra St. Brown quite a bit, but Amon-Ra St. Brown was 50-50 slot and outside, and Noel Williams was on him too. So hats off to Noel Williams as well. Yes, Amon-Ra St. Brown had 9 catches, but it was for 45 yards. 9 catches for 45 yards. Before that game, he was averaging 70 yards, at least 70 yards a game over the last 4. And he had 9 catches for 45 yards. So, yeah, they did a great job limiting him. They really limited the run game. The Lions had under 100 rushing yards for the first time since week 1. There was a lot of, and some of that's because they were behind. You're not going to sit there and run the piss out of the football when you're behind, trailing. So some of that's like hats off to the offense because you're forcing them to kind of change how they want to run their offense because you're up multiple scores. But heck yeah. Age trumps all, said Tom. MVS shows it, but a great teammate. Yeah, I mean, when he was here, he had some really down moments, but he also had some great plays in the playoffs. Darren, thank you so much for the membership. Andy Beasley with the 23 months. If Veach can't find a pass rusher defensive player before the trade deadline, do you think the Chiefs make a serious push to trade for a running back like Breece Hall? He would be incredible in this offense. And then to piggyback on that, thanks for the 23 months. Let's freaking go tier, Andy. The Campbell Cooks immediately after that said, would you rather have a running back or D-line trade edition with the 2-bomb? And so back-to-back questions here. Yeah, I think the greater need is probably for another pass rusher that can help you get home to the quarterback. Who are you going to get, though? And the Chiefs tried that last year. Didn't they trade for 2 guys? Didn't they trade for Cameron Thomas and Joshua Uche before the trade deadline? What did they do? Nothing. I mean, they didn't get used. So, yeah, you could go get another pass rusher to help, but it needs to be somebody that's going to be used and make an impact potentially. So if you're not even going to waste your time with that, if I had to choose, yes, pass rusher. But if you're going to get a guy you're not going to use, go get a running back. And I think the running back is a bit, it's not as dire with how the offense is looking. If you're running more plays from under center, Pacheco's a little bit better at that. And the passing game is just looking as great as it has because the O-line. With Rice's return, it's not as dire, but there are times when it shows up. Like Pacheco was targeted 3 times in the pass game, and he had 1 catch for 0 yards. He struggles to break tackles sometimes, and he struggles with being a valuable dual threat back for Mahomes. Cole, the Chiefs don't run the ball. Who cares? We don't need a running back. Quit talking about it. Well, Jerick McKinnon, 2022. That guy had a few hundred rushing yards, maybe a little bit more, and some touchdowns. But then guess what? He had 11 receiving touchdowns and 600 receiving yards. Was 3rd on the team in receiving yards, I think. So if you could get a dual threat back that you can kind of have out there whenever on any given down, he could be catching passes out of the backfield or be solid enough to run. Great. Now, Brashard Smith, hopefully his snaps continue increasing. I don't know how much he's ready for a full workload in the Chiefs offense yet. Kareem Hunt's fine in his role. He's your short yardage guy. He is your 3rd down back right now, but lacks burst. He had a 33-yard run a couple weeks ago. Okay, that was awesome. But you're asking if I had to pick. I think if I had to pick, yes, D-line, but get a guy you're going to use or just go trade for a running back. If you want to push your chips a little bit in on the Breece Hall thing, that's if the Jets would be willing to trade him and then extend him to a multi-year contract. You have nobody under contract in the running back room next year outside of Brashard Smith. That's it. That's all you got. Everybody else is on 1-year deals. So I wouldn't mind it. And then if you do make a push for a running back before the trade deadline, they'll be ready for the playoffs, essentially. You would ramp them up. But we'll see. I think the offense can make it work with who they have, especially with the wide receiver room looking like they have, Juju's looking great, Kelsey's looking awesome, Rice is coming back, Worthy, Thornton is really developed. But yeah, I don't like seeing Mahomes running or leading the room in rushing 3 out of 6 games. I don't love that. It's not the most dynamic running back room, guys. Like, I try to be respectful, and I'm not trying to be rude. But we watch running backs make crazy plays every Sunday on Red Zone, and I'm like, yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool. But if you work with Pacheco and some of the guys back there within their limitations and do things to help them be more effective, run under center, from under center, it is going to help a little bit. For sure. And they've looked better the past couple of weeks. I try to give criticism where I feel like it's needed, but also give props and praise when good things happen too. That's why I've given Kingsley Suamataia props and praise for looking better every week. Jawan Taylor for not drawing flags in 3 games. Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt for looking a little bit better in the run game. And Kareem Hunt, I feel like, has always been fine. Like, you know what you're getting with him. A first down on 3rd and short. So that's been great. I'm trying to think of what else. Like, we were a little concerned about the safety room early on. I feel like they're looking good. I don't mind Shamari Connor at all if he's not playing much in the slot. He played a career or a season low 17 snaps in the slot last week, and he played like 34 the week prior. I understand you're not going to be able to go all McDuffie in the slot every game, every snap. Like, I get that, but limit Connor in the slot, and it's going to help. So, and he's a good corner, or he's a good safety, not a good slot corner. He's like, you can't use him like that. Not a good nickelback, whatever you want to call it. Let me see. Where are we at? Getting tired of Detroit fans crying already? Yeah, I talked about it at the beginning of the stream. I thought it was a little bit over the top with everything going on. Part of me was like, dude, I kind of wish the Chiefs just would have been flagged a couple times. Like, it wouldn't have changed the outcome of the game at all. And then you could have been like, well, they were flagged once. It was just declined. But part of me was like, dude, I think if they're flagged for whatever, a hold here or something, it gives them nothing. So part of me is like, I wish there was a flag or two just so people would shut the heck up. But at the same time, like, there's been other games before where a team hasn't been flagged, or I feel like they just let them play. The Lions were only flagged 4 times, and the Chiefs were flagged 13 times against the Jaguars for like 110 yards. So, and then people were still saying the refs were trying to give that game to the Chiefs. They were flagged 13 times, and there was still ref talk. So it doesn't really matter how many times the Chiefs get flagged. There's always going to be the ref talk. Just is what it is. Mahomes-aholic in the house again with the 5. Thank you, brother. Do you reckon we should go all in on Brock Bowers or draft a tight end next year? I don't see how we can replace Kelsey. He's still Pat's go-to guy. Yeah, I don't think the Raiders are going to get rid of Bowers. That's about the only positive outside of Ashton Genty now and maybe a couple other pieces that you have on that offense, and he's still on his rookie deal. Would I entertain the idea? Sure. The problem is you've got a lot of guys on the roster for the Chiefs with some high cap hits. Mahomes, I mean, some of the O-line, the Chiefs have the most invested money into their O-line. You do free up some money next year if Kelsey retires. I don't know what you do with the tight end spot. I think Rice is going to be your main slot guy, and Mahomes' new just go-to target on gotta have it downs, and you funnel the offense more through Rashee Rice, and it just looks a little bit different. You build around that, possibly extend Rice if he has a good season this year and stays healthy. I think you could work on extending Rice, keep him around, build around him, and maybe that's the direction you go instead of funneling through a tight end, which the Chiefs have been blessed to be able to do a lot over the last 20. Well, when was Tony Gonzalez drafted? Like 99, 98, somewhere around there. There was a gap between Gonzalez when he asked to be traded and went to the Falcons, and then Travis Kelce getting drafted. But it doesn't always have to funnel through a tight end. I think you do need to invest in a tight end, unless I think Jared Wiley could be that guy, or Noah Gray could have a bigger role next year. It's all hypotheticals because, dude, maybe Travis Kelce plays another year. I mean, Tony Gonzalez played till he was 39? I think. Tony Gonzalez stats. Tony Gonzalez played till he was 37. So really only one more year after Kelsey. But even that 37 year for Gonzalez, 859 yards, 8 touchdowns on 83 receptions. So, I mean, there's still a possibility that Kelsey even plays next year. I don't know. I don't know. Should we create a fire red HBTC hot sauce? Oh, the Campbell, bro. I didn't go to my UPS store. I'm so sorry, dude. I'll get you soon, though. Yeah, I didn't go to the UPS store. Campbell sent me a bunch of his hot sauces. An Orchard Yellow, Fresno Red, Verde Inferno, and a jar of Peach Habanero. He makes his own hot sauces. I told him I would get it and open it on stream, and I failed you, brother. I didn't make it to the UPS store. I try to go like once a week, and I didn't make it yet this week, but I will soon. And I don't know what I'll do. I might open them before, but I'll film something and we'll do a review or something like that. But man, some HBTC hot sauce, that might be fun. We could definitely talk about it, bro. Thanks again for sending those. I'll get to the UPS store soon. Brand with the 5 bomb. 3 weeks until the deadline, November 4th. We'll probably see something in the next 2 weeks, but maybe wait to make sure we are still healthy everywhere. Yeah. And again, I don't know if the Chiefs have to make a move before the trade deadline. I'm just saying if they wanted to make a move right now, D-line or running back. But then it is the NFL. Injuries happen. I hope it doesn't. The Chiefs are one of the healthier teams in the NFL right now, but God forbid an injury happens somewhere and they need to make a move to another position group entirely because of an injury that hits somewhere else. Knock on wood. Here, this is wood. Knock on that. Not going to happen. But yeah, you never know. You never really know. I hope not, but we'll see what happens. The deadline's a few weeks away now. B. Hayes with the 5 bomb. Let the ref talk come back. What an insecure take from other fans just compensating for their teams showing some bleeding. Yeah, I don't really get it because I'm like, the Lions are a really good team. They're 4-2. They got beat pretty handedly. I think it's just like tip of the cap, man. Like, good job, Chiefs. There's a reason why you've been to 3 straight Super Bowls and you're a top team in the AFC every single year. Like, GG's, good game. Yeah, sure. Maybe you could have had a flag here or there, but good game. You guys earned the W. Nah, instead everybody's melting down, and not everybody, but it's like a large group of people on social media, and it's like all I see. Refs this, refs that. It's like, come on, dude. It wasn't even close. It wasn't even close. Scott with the 2, the ref talk lets me know we are all the way back. Yeah, that's a way to look at it. That's a way to look at it, for sure. Winning by that much and the ref talk is crazy. Tom Flora with the 5. The look on Pat's face after Hendrickson smoked him for the roughing penalty. Oh, you mean Hutchinson? But yes, Hutchinson and Hendrickson, both great pass rushers in their own right. For the penalty was priceless. Read my lips. Yeah, he said something, Tom, to the effect of, what the F were you thinking? Because Aiden Hutchinson took like 3 steps and then hit him. And some people were saying that didn't deserve to be flagged. Sometimes, man, and this is us included, Chiefs fans included, when we watch football games, we have to take our blinders off sometimes when our teams play. If we were watching a non-Chiefs game and we saw somebody take 3 or 4 steps and hit the quarterback after he throws it, what are we all going to say? Hey, that's roughing the passer. There's a flag thrown. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But if it's your team that does it, you have to look at it a little objectively here. Instead of crying about the refs, you got to say, bro, Aiden Hutchinson, you can't do that. You can't take 3 to 4 steps and then hit Mahomes. What are you thinking? What are you doing? So, again, I wasn't lecturing you guys, but just like fans do that for their own team. They'll just like put these blinders on and just be like, nah, that shouldn't have been a flag. The refs are trying to screw. It's like, no, dude, that was actually a flag. That was a flag. That was a flag. B. Hayes with another 2 bomb. Couldn't have said it better. Yeah, heck yeah, man. It's a weird time. Nobody likes the Chiefs. There's studies coming out by guys with a PhD that the officiating has been slanted in the direction of the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs. Dude, come on. There's a couple of things like that are pretty easy to deduce, and I don't have a PhD. You don't need a PhD to be like, if the Chiefs are the 1 seed or almost the 1 seed every single playoff run, and they're always almost home, statistically speaking, the home team gets like a slight advantage, a little bit from officiating, not like massive, but that's like pretty, I think you could back that one up. The home team in some games. Okay, so that's like one little side of it. The other is crowd noise. The Arrowhead effect, affecting discipline penalties on opposing offenses, false start, delay of game. And then you're playing wild card teams that, because you're a top seed, you're playing like wild card teams that are undisciplined. They don't perform well under pressure, and they make mistakes because they can't handle it, and they're trying their best, but they're playing undisciplined football. The moment is too bright for them. Meanwhile, the Chiefs prepare for the moments and are ready in a lot of these situations. So yeah, sometimes the flags are lopsided, but it's not because it's like some grand conspiracy. Like, use your head and your brain, dude. You went to how many years of college to get your PhD? I went to 1 semester in college and was like, I'm out of here. And I could easily deduce some of this stuff. Like, it's a little ridiculous. And then the study, it's some study that was going around, like recently shared, that it's proof that the refs are rigging things for the Chiefs. They cited 2015 to 2025. 2015? 2016? 2017? The Chiefs were 1-3 in the playoffs. 1-3. What are we talking about? Why didn't the refs help the Chiefs win more games? Why are the refs wanting a middle market team in Kansas City to win games? What are we doing, dude? I mean, it's just like stupid stuff that if you just put your Chiefs hate aside and just look at it, it's like, oh yeah, no, that actually makes sense. Like, everything you just said, Cole, makes a lot of sense. And I'm a Chiefs fan. I get it, but you can just easily deduce some of that stuff, and it's a little blown out of proportion, man. Jennifer, thanks so much for the 1587. Jennifer, holding it down always. Thank you so much. Scott with the 2. That only call that was questionable was the DPI. Are you talking about the DPI on Travis Kelce up the right sideline? He did have a hold of his arm and kind of pulled, I believe. I don't remember how exactly it went down, but if that's the play you're talking about, that's the kind of the thing, dude. Like, if they wouldn't have called it, okay. I mean, you could have maybe flagged that, but whatever. Like, I literally watched the Jags in the Jags game. I watched the Chiefs get flagged 13 times for 110 yards. Guess how much I cried about officiating in all my videos and all my recaps? 0! Sorry for yelling into the mic, but it's because I'm not a little cry ass. Oh, Cole, the Chiefs just win. The Chiefs didn't win that game. I'm not going to blame the refs. The Chiefs had a pick 6. Like, there was so much that went wrong in that game that the Chiefs could have done differently to win that game. What are we doing, man? Pathetic. Tom, with the 5, one of my buddies said the DPI penalty on the downfield sideline pass to Kelce wasn't a penalty. Said Chiefs just get those calls all the time. I mean, definitely don't get the calls all the time. But yeah, if they wouldn't have flagged that, I wouldn't have melted down. I don't know if that was on a 3rd down or not. I don't remember. But that's not changing the outcome of the game. The Chiefs are winning that game, man. It's not close. So that's kind of the thing with penalties sometimes. Sometimes there's calls that happen that's like, I've seen less flagged or more not flagged. I've also will be watching something and I'm like, I think that could have been a flag there. They didn't flag it. So you just got to keep moving. Like, what else are you supposed to do? Do I think KC should get A.J. Brown? somebody needs to get A.J. Brown. I don't think the Chiefs need A.J. Brown. That contract is kind of, there's a lot going on with that contract, and he's like 29 years old. He's still a great receiver, but I look at the Chiefs wide receiver room, and they're fine. Now, for next year or something, okay, that's a little bit different, but I think somebody should probably save A.J. Brown. But I don't know that that's the bigger need for the Chiefs right now. Cole, you should talk about the ESPN NFL Power Rankings. I didn't look into it too much, but I saw Nick Wright was upset because I think the Chiefs were number 7 on the Power Rankings last week. They then beat the Lions and fell to number 9. How do you beat the number 1 or number 2 team in the NFL on Power Rankings and fall 2 spots? You didn't just beat them, but you clearly beat them by more than 1 score. So yeah, I don't care about the Power Ranking stuff. I typically skip over it because I am unbothered and unfazed by Power Rankings. But that was the Power Rankings of ESPN where you used it was like 80 different, it was like a panel of 80 different people doing the voting and all that and ranking these. Let me see if I can just find it. I have ESPN Plus. ESPN Power Rankings, week 6. Can I find it? Or I guess week 7. Yeah, here it is. Let's just see what their reasoning is, because I haven't even seen it. Week 7 Power Rankings. Isn't this the one where they do the panel of a bunch of different people? Where do they talk about it? NFL Nation reporters picked. Oh, right here. Here we go. Our power panel of more than 80 writers, editors, and TV personalities evaluated how NFL teams stack up against one another, ranking them 1 to 32. Okay, so the Bucs went up 4. I mean, the Bucs are awesome, dude. So that's fine if they want to have them at the top. The Lions dropped 1. The Bills dropped 2 after losing to the Falcons. The Colts were up 5. The Eagles dropped 3. The Packers went up 8. The Rams went up 9. Wait, am I reading this right? No. I'm not reading this right. Sorry, I'm an idiot. They were, okay, here we go. The Bucs were 4. They moved to 1. Sorry, I'm an idiot. The Lions were 1. They're now 2. The Bills were 2 last week, and they're now 3. The Colts were 5, and they're now 4. Okay, this makes way more sense. The Eagles were 3 last week, and they're now 5. The Packers were 8, and they're now 6. Sorry, this takes me... I don't ever read these, so I'm just I don't know what I'm looking at. The Rams are 7 now, and last week they were 9. So they went up 2. Okay. The Seahawks were 11th, and they are now 8th. But the Chiefs beat the number 1 team. They beat the team that was number 1 last week. That team falls 1. And the Chiefs are now 9? They dropped 2? What's the... I don't get that at all, actually. That's weird. So that's why I don't care about power rankings. What does it matter? We watch all these ESPN analysts every week pick the Chiefs to lose. I don't know. So why do I care what they think? That's pretty crazy, though. Math is hard. I was reading wrong. I don't ever read power rankings, man. I was reading it as the arrow was up, down, and then the number that they moved. But there was a typo. If you actually go and look, they were 10 last week. They were 10 last week? Where's there a typo? Oh. So this article in and of itself is just wrong. So if you go to their week 5 or week 6 power rankings, whatever it is, the Chiefs were 10 and they went up to 9. Well, then that makes way more sense. That's why I don't care about the power rankings anyway. But that's crazy. If Nick Wright went on that big old rant and this was just a typo, that's actually hilarious. So if you go to the week 5 power rankings, the Chiefs were 10 and they went up 1 to 9. Okay. That makes way more sense than beating the Lions and falling 2. Les won with the 10. You got to be more like Nick Wright, the tackle that turned the tide. I like that. The tackle that turned the tide. Thank you for the 10, man. Yeah, shout out to Nick Wright. The tackle that turned the tide. That's it, exactly. Yeah, if there was just a typo and the Chiefs raised one, that makes way more sense. But is it really a typo? They said the Broncos stayed the same from last week at 10. I mean, at this point, we're too deep into the weeds. I'm going to find it. Week 5, ESPN, Power Rankings, NFL. Was that week 7? So I need to go to week 6. I'm going to week 6. If I can find it. All right, here we go. I'm here. Week 6. Yeah, so it was a typo. The Broncos were 9 and the Chiefs were 10. So the Chiefs moved to 9 and the Broncos went down to 10. So it's just a typo. But yeah, everybody was probably pissed off to see that. Can they not edit their articles? Like, why can't they fix that? Crazy. Glad I don't pay attention to those. Why do we play at noon? Because they're playing the Raiders. I mean, no offense. And honestly, I'm kind of looking forward to a noon game. Are you guys looking forward to a noon game? They play Monday night the week after, but I'm kind of looking forward to waking up, having coffee, eating a late breakfast, and just getting ready for the stream. The game will be over by 3. I'll make all my content for the next couple of hours after that, and then I get to just enjoy Sunday Night Football. It is champagne problems when us as Chiefs fans, and I get it, because the late night games are really tough. It's tough for people that have to go to work in the morning. After a 4-hour live stream, and then making content after. And I'm going to bed sometimes at like 1, 2 in the morning, and my kids wake me up the same time the next morning, regardless of when I go to bed. So yeah, noon game is much better, but it's champagne problems. They want to put the Chiefs in prime time because people will watch. A lot of them hate watching and looking for ref. Oh, look at the refs. I gotta look for the refs. But they get a lot of eyes. I mean, that Lions and Chiefs game, they averaged 27.3 million viewers across NBC and Peacock. It is the second most watched. What is this? It is the second most watched. Oh, it's just a type. He just like doubled it. It is the second most watched October audience in the history of NBC Sunday Night Football. So a lot of people tune in when the Chiefs are on primetime. I mean, that's just going to be what it is. But yeah, I don't mind a noon game at all. Don't mind it. Elaine or Alan, so sorry if I said your name wrong, with the 2-bomb. This might be the week the Chiefs tie for the division. Yeah, let's look at the division. Let's just look at the week 7 games. Because I want to look at the AFC West real quick. And then I don't think this is the best one to look at. But here we go. So the Chiefs play the Raiders. Obviously, if you win that, the Chiefs go to 4-3. The Raiders are going to fall to, what are they right now? 2-4. They're going to fall to 2-5, I think. The Broncos play the Giants at 3:05. I don't know, man. The Giants could win that game. Now, the Broncos are home, but the Giants have won a couple games here recently, and you're with Jackson Dart. I know they don't have Malik Neighbors. Like, they're not 100% out there. They didn't have Darius Slayton last week either, but they still won that game. And then the Colts play the Chargers. The Chargers could absolutely lose that game too. The Broncos could lose that game. I don't know if it happens, but let's go to AFC West standings real quick. They're getting close. The division is not far off. The Chargers are 4-2. The Broncos are 4-2. The Chiefs are 3-3. Now, here's where the Chargers kind of get you. Maybe you can't see it here. The Chargers are 3-0 against division opponents. They beat the Raiders. They beat I don't know the exact order. They beat the Chiefs, the Raiders, and the Broncos the first 3 weeks of the season. So the Chargers do have the tiebreaker over the Chiefs. You really need to win your next game against the Chargers. But yeah, I mean, the division is well within reach. If the Chiefs win, they fall to, or they go to 4-3. And if the Broncos and or Chargers lose, everybody's 4-3. These three teams are 4-3. The Raiders are 2-5. I think the Chargers would still technically be first because they have the tiebreaker over the Chiefs, but you just 1 week at a time, stack the W's, win the games, and the Chiefs can do it. The Raiders are banged up. I don't know when Joe Alt returns, but Rashawn Slater's out for the season. I saw Trey Pipkins didn't play last week. I mean, he might have been placed on IR. Najee Harris is out for the season. Omarion Hampton is placed on IR. That's both of their running backs. Hampton will be back. Joe Alt will be back. I think Pipkins will be back. But they're just going through a lot of injuries right now. Justin Herbert is the most hit quarterback in the NFL this year. So I don't know that the Chargers hold on to the West. I think the Chiefs are going to end up winning it. I think they're going to go on a run. I don't know how many in a row they're going to win, but they're just going to look really good. And I think they're going to win out or win quite a bit of games here. I mean, they're 3-3. I still think like a 12-5 season is within reach. There's still tough teams. You're going to play the Commanders, who are kind of struggling right now. They just lost a game. They lost on Monday Night Football to the Bears. Multiple turnovers. Terry McLaurin's not healthy right now. That's the Commanders after the Raiders. Then you have the Bills. And the Bills right now, I mean, you want to talk about a team that's like, whoa. You got Bills fans kind of freaking out right now, wanting some coaches fired or something to happen. But Josh Allen didn't have Dalton Kincaid. He didn't have Curtis Samuel. Joshua Palmer left the game banged up. Tell me somebody on the Bills defense that you're like, that is a dog. That is their player. They build their defense around that guy. Can anybody in chat tell me? I mean, I know a couple guys off the top of my head. I know an edge rusher that they signed in the offseason, but who, and I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm like, who on the Bills defense is like, that's that guy? Ed Oliver? That's probably the only one. The big one. I mean, Ed Oliver's great. But if you don't have that offense firing on all cylinders, that defense is not going to hold up. I mean, somebody messaged me today. Somebody either messaged me today or left a comment and said, hey, so when the Chiefs play the Bills, I think your quarterback is going to carve us up and we're going to lose by more than one score. Like, that's where the mindset of the Buffalo Bills are at right now. Yeah, they got Bosa. Yeah, the few names that come to my mind, it would be Ed Oliver, Bosa, and Matt Milano. Yeah, but there are a lot of banged up players over there. All that to say, those three games are winnable. Raiders, Commanders, Bills, they're winnable. But the Bills always play the Chiefs tough. I feel like Josh Allen has beaten Patrick Mahomes more in the regular season than the inverse in the regular season. Now, obviously, we know the Bills are 0-4 to the Chiefs in the playoffs in the Allen and Mahomes era, but you know, it won't be like, none of these are going to be cakewalk games. And if we look at the rest of the Chiefs season, I mean, we've been talking about it. Whoa. Where did we go? Okay, here we are. You got the Raiders, the Commanders, the Bills. When's the bye week? After the Bills. So you've got 3 games into the bye. After the bye, you got the Broncos, the Colts, who actually look much better than I thought they would, and the Colts are the Chiefs' kryptonite as it is. The Cowboys, that should be a winnable game, but their offense is at least high-powered. The Texans, I don't know. Their defense is really good, pretty good. The offense has floundered, but I think they've won at least 1 or 2 recently. But you have a lot of AFC West games at the back half of the season, 5 games. You have the Raiders. I mean, after the bye, you've got 4 AFC West games. You got the Broncos twice, the Chargers, and then the Raiders. The Broncos on Christmas. Like, these last 2 games, if you don't have the division locked up for some reason, these are very important games. If you don't beat the Titans, that's probably a trap game. Like, watch that be one of the 2 games the Chiefs drop if they get to 12-5. Like, they win all these tough games. They just like randomly drop to the Titans. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Hopefully, all that to say, hopefully the Chiefs can tie the division or get close. Tom with the 5. How wrong were all the people picking Detroit? Talking heads are just there for entertainment. The Chiefs had Super Bowl swagger, been there, done that. I mean, I could get to the conclusion of where some of these people were saying, hey, I think the Lions are going to win. Bite your tongue, Cole. I'll knock on wood. But a trap game is a game that the Chiefs shouldn't win or shouldn't lose, and they do. That's like every year. Games like that can happen. They shouldn't lose to the Titans, though. But remember when we said, wasn't it, hey, they should not lose to the Panthers? And did they take the Panthers to overtime or something like that? Or it was like a game-winning field goal, and it was like down to the wire. I think they win most of these games from here on out, but you've got to fire on all cylinders. Yeah, anybody picking Detroit, I wasn't mad. I wasn't even offended because I could see if they, as long as they were respectful about it, like I could see how they were getting to that conclusion. Well, the Lions are averaging 35 points per game. I think they win in a shootout by 3. Okay. I thought the Chiefs would win in a shootout by 3. So if you tell me the Lions were going to win in a shootout by 3, I'm not going to be offended. But when you have Chris Sims getting on the mic going, the Lions are in another class, it's not going to be close. The Lions are going to essentially, the Lions are going to walk all over the Chiefs. They're going to win by more than one score. They're in a different league. Okay. Where do you reach that conclusion? Because I think you just literally pulled it out of your, you know what? Like, you're not looking at the injury reports of the secondary. You're not looking at how hot the Chiefs offense is getting, how good that O-line's looking. So that's where it got funny to me. Will Rice play the majority of snaps? I don't think so, Sneed. I don't think he does. I could very well be wrong, but he hasn't been practicing with the team. And in my head, if you go up early against the Raiders, you're up by 14, you're up by 17, you just have Rice play some snaps to get his feet wet. If it's a little bit closer of a game, like maybe he plays a little bit more, but I would be very surprised if Rice goes in there and plays like 80% of snaps, especially because of how good the offense is looking, like how good Juju looks, Worthy, Thornton. I think you're going to have answers to put up some pretty good points against the Raiders. So yeah, I would personally be surprised if he played a lot of snaps. Unnatural with the two taking Swedish wife to her first NFL game this week. Oh, let's go. Oh, to the Raiders game, right, KC? Heck yeah, bro. Arrowhead's going to be rocking. B. Hayes said last, don't know, but you went insane. Thoughts on the Bucs this year could wreak havoc in the NFC. Oh, yeah. Yeah, let me pull that up real quick. I think the Bucs are awesome. I think they're number one on a lot of people's power rankings for a good reason. You beat the, how do I pull this up? Okay, here we go. I mean, this is their schedule. They lost to the Eagles in like the weirdest way possible. I don't know how to show this better. Like it's being weird right now. But they beat the Falcons, they beat the Texans, they beat the Jets. Okay. You lost to the Eagles, but wasn't that the game where the Eagles blocked 2 field goals? Or was that the Rams? Either way, you lost by 6. You then beat the Seahawks in a shootout, and you beat the 49ers. But when you look at their stats, Baker Mayfield has thrown 1,500 yards, 12 touchdowns to only 1 interception. And he is sneaky good on the ground. 22 carries for 158 yards. I mean, he had an incredible 3rd and 14-yard scramble for a first down. I think they're awesome. They're playing really good ball, and you're doing this sometimes without your leading receivers. Like Mike Evans has been banged up. Chris Godwin hasn't even returned to play yet. Mecca Egbuka, awesome rookie, but he's banged up now. And I think he's a lot of fun to watch. I mean, unless you're just ultra scarred by Super Bowl 55, I think the Bucs are a really fun team to watch. They're one of my favorite ones to watch right now. Somebody I think it's just like a kid. He's like, why don't you change your name to how about those Bucks if you're going to talk nicely about Baker Mayfield? I'm like, why? What are we, 5? I can't say Baker Mayfield's playing good football right now. He's playing really good football right now. And I just like Baker Mayfield because of what the Browns did to him. I want to see that team, the Browns, suck year after year after year. They deserve it. I hope they remain cursed. And I just love to see Baker balling out. You went through all the QB stuff you went through as the Browns, getting rid of Baker, doing what you did to him, and look at him now. Like, I'm so happy for Baker, dude. Now, obviously, if he plays the Chiefs or anything like that, like, no, I don't want success for Baker. I don't want them to win. Nothing like that. They're not my second favorite. It's nothing weird, but it's just you have to appreciate good football, good players. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Like I don't like the Raiders, but I have a lot of respect for Max Crosby. I like watching him play. Like Brock Bowers was a lot of fun to watch play last year. He hasn't been healthy, and he won't be playing in this game, by the way. Brock Bowers won't. So I just like to watch good football players. I thought Saquon last year was a lot of fun to watch, and he was on the Eagles. But it doesn't really matter to some extent. Yeah, Baker's great, man. I'm always rooting for the guy just because of what happened. I probably have like a little bit of unnecessary hate to the Browns. Like I've never had any bad interactions with Browns fans. I kind of feel bad for their fans. Do you think the Bucks have what it takes to beat the Lions on Monday? Oh yeah. I mean, they're both teams are going to be banged up, but if Brian Branch is suspended and they're still down multiple corners and Kirby Joseph is out there playing with a bum knee, or he's not playing either, and Baker Mayfield doesn't have a couple of his top options, and by the way, the Bucks have been winning some of these games without Bucky Irving. He hasn't played the last couple of games either. One of their 2 top running backs. But yeah, I think the Bucks could win that game. It might be a close one, but they absolutely could go in there and win that game. Yeah. How much do you think the Chiefs will win next week? Oh, how much by? Well, they're favored by 11.5. I'll probably have them winning by 10. I haven't done my score prediction yet, and maybe they win by plenty more, but I could see the Chiefs being up by like 17, like late, and the Raiders score a garbage time touchdown. So then it's like, oh, the Chiefs only beat the Raiders by 10. Well, it was really 17, and they were playing prevent, and the Raiders got a touchdown at the end. I mean, maybe they lose by 30, the Raiders do, but it's a divisional game. Those can get kind of weird. I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at with it right now. B. Hayes said, feels like the Chiefs the past few years. You're talking about the Bucks? Just like finding a way to win with in spite of injuries and all that? Yeah. Yeah, man, Baker's fun to watch. Because he didn't just get let go from the Browns, but he like kind of bounced around with a few teams and struggled in Carolina. I think he was with the Rams for a minute. So his resurgence with the Bucks has been pretty cool to see. Report is that Branch is suspended. Well, yeah. Bop it. Thank you for the 2. He is suspended, but he appealed his suspension. So that's why I said if Branch is suspended. I'm saying the if because if for some reason the appeal results in him either his suspension being delayed a week or something, or they uphold, or I don't know what the phrasing would be. They overturn the suspension. It's happened before where the NFL issues a suspension, they appeal it, and they either reduce the suspension or just don't have him be suspended at all, but it's a much heftier fine. I think he's going to be suspended. I would be surprised if it gets overturned or whatever the phrasing is. We'll be ahead of the Broncos if we win. Yeah, the Chiefs would be, I think, second in the AFC West if the Broncos and Chargers lose and the Chiefs win. The Chiefs would be just right under the Chargers because the Chargers have the head-to-head over them. Charles said, I bet you $100 he's suspended. Well, he is suspended. He appealed. So the Lions, Dan Campbell, I listened to his presser yesterday. They're operating as if he's going to stay suspended. I wouldn't even be confident of taking that bet, Charles, because I think he's going to stay suspended. But when you appeal, there is a chance. I was there for the college matchup between Mahomes and Mayfield. Talk about electric. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, that was a crazy game. I've seen highlights of it. I never watched it live or anything like that. What are your thoughts on Brian Branch getting suspended with the fine? Well, if you get suspended one game with no fine, he might not get fined, but I think the suspension, he has to forfeit a game check, which is like $70,000. So it's kind of like a $70,000 fine. So that's what would happen. There has to be indisputable proof to overturn a suspension. Oh, I read some examples today of like similar examples of players fighting after a game and they appeal the suspension, and at least one or two of them have won. I don't remember the specific examples, but one guy had a 2-game suspension and he appealed and got it reduced to 1. But again, I think he's just going to stay suspended. I would be very surprised if Brian Branch is not suspended. Kevin with the 5-bomb. Have I missed this already because I was late to the party? Or I may have missed it. But any thoughts on all these trade rumors swirling around the Chiefs? I mean, the only one I really saw about the Chiefs is they were kind of calling around about a running back. I've seen other articles like listing potential fits for the Chiefs, but there was nothing like, it wasn't like a source. I know my screen's black over here. I should go turn it on, but I'm just not right now. Yeah, I don't think there's really anything solid. I think the Chiefs have been calling around about a running back. I saw that report, but there might be some other much more running back needy teams that could outbid the Chiefs. Think about like the Chargers. They're down Najee Harris and Omarion Hampton. That would be like the Chiefs down, not the same players, but that would be like the Chiefs have no Pacheco and no Kareem Hunt. I mean, there's levels of desperation near the trade deadline, so some teams, based on need, might be giving up more than the Chiefs would be comfortable with or willing to give up themselves. Andy with the 10-bomb. Let's go, dude. Bruce Arians made a good point today on Pat McAfee's show that when that happens, family members, media, etc., are on the field and could get hurt. Yeah, true. Bad representation for the NFL. Bruce Arians said he would give him a 3-game suspension. That's why I think I was a little bit. That's why I was a little bit surprised when he appealed it, because I was like, "Oh, 1 game." I was like, "Nah, that sounds fair, I guess." Like multi-game might have been a little much, but that's why I was a little surprised when he appealed it. Has anyone heard about Simmons? No. We talked about Simmons earlier. I haven't heard anything yet. Maybe we'll hear something tomorrow. I hope so. But regardless, I'm only hoping we hear something, even just like a little bit of, hey, Josh is doing okay. He's probably not going to play this week, but everything's good. We're in communication with him. Like, even just an update like that would be awesome. I don't need to know what's going on. Not really. That's his. If it's a personal matter, it's a personal matter. Even just some update would be nice. I just hope he's all right. I hope everything's going okay, as well as it could be given the circumstances. You know, he had to leave like that over the weekend, last minute. So yeah, hopefully he's all right, man. And hopefully we hear something this week, but I don't need to know details. Sometimes people's business is people's business. We don't need to know it, but just some sort of an update on would be cool. We'll see though. You know, maybe they'll keep it real hush hush for a while now. We'll have to find out, but maybe we'll hear tomorrow from, I think, Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. I think it's their Wednesday, and so I'll definitely give anything that I've got info wise in tomorrow night's video. With that being said, man, I'm gonna call it a day. Appreciate everybody hanging out. It was a fun. We've held 1,000 people all stream, so it was a lot of fun. It's 10 o'clock. I'm gonna get ready for bed. Get ready for a big day tomorrow. But man, appreciate the heck out of each and every one of you. Thanks for the mods holding it down. All the dono bombs and memberships. Thanks for putting up with me letting me rant, letting me talk for an hour and a half, an hour and 44 minutes straight. Means a lot to me to have people in here and just to be able to talk some Chiefs. The football season's in full swing. What a win it was. The Chiefs are looking good. They're getting hot at the right time. I'm excited for this game against the Raiders. They should win that one too, but can't sleepwalk past them. I'm going to interview a Raiders creator tomorrow, and we'll have that video drop Thursday. We'll have videos, all kinds of content coming out this week, man. So I appreciate each and every one of you, and until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go.
How about those Chiefs?